Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and I want to talk to you today about how my moon practice is growing and developing. If you're new here, on my channel we spend time talking about personal and witchy development using tarot, journaling, and astrology. And if that sounds up your alley, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so that way you can find my content again. And let's get cracking. Today, I want to talk about the moon because this is in place of my full moon video, so I can update you on what's going on, how things are developing here. First of all, my notebook did break. This is a notebook therapy notebook, so notebook therapy, if you happen to see this, fix it. But notebook therapy has a thing with their notebooks. My only qualm with their notebooks is that they're well priced, shipping is free. The only issue I've ever had is I'm trying to find an example here. Let me get my new one and show you, because it has started to happen in this brand new one too. So here it looks like it's just one page flip. It's actually multiple pages. And when they bound it, glue, let's see, can you see that? Glue started to get stuck. So what I was doing was I would pull it, and doing that definitely is what caused issues with the spine. So, because then it pulls all the way back, it pulls all the way down into here, where it connects. So can you see that little, hold on. Boop. Let me try and focus here. So that page where it's glued right here, it's two signatures glued together right there. So when I pulled it, it would pull. And if you do that on the ends, it starts to separate the spine, because this spine is free floating here. It's not like fully glued onto it. So just be aware of that. That's what happened with my notebook. I'll keep you posted on if my next one does better, with me being more gentle with it and not reaming the pages apart. Anyways, so that's the big elephant in the room of my poor broken notebook. Anywho, I want to talk about the moon because a while ago I started a series on my channel where I wanted to come and do a new moon and full moon video. And I wanted to do this because I always found that the posts and things I found about working with the moon that were specific to astrology. So when people would be like, this is a Pisces full moon, this is a Virgo new moon, this is a the themes weren't landing, and that's because they were being based on the zodiac sign, and the zodiac sign is not quite where we get personal with it. I always describe astrology as follows, and I'm a professional astrologer and tarot reader, the actual word. My website is linked in the description. I always describe it as the planet that we're talking about is the energy that we're discussing. The sign that it's in is the way the energy manifests. It's the how. And the house that it's in is where it manifests. So just once again, the planet that we talk about is what the energy is. The sign is how the energy looks and feels, and the house is where we're gonna feel it and experience it. So the houses is really where we can start to get personal. So I wanted to make this information more accessible. I wanted people who were interested like me to be able to work with the moons in a way that made sense for them. So I started doing videos. The first, I did 2 new moon videos. I can link the playlist up above. The first full moon video, I was too ambitious and didn't have time. And then this one, instead, I just want to update you because some very, very, very big shifts have happened for me. And the basis of those videos was so that way folks could do a reading, a tarot reading, or oracle reading, based more specifically on how the moon affects them personally, with some very easy personal customization. And so that way they could then, based on that reading, take that information and apply it in some way into their life to help with their personal and witchy development. Well, and I was going to do the same thing for full moon videos. I'm not sure if that applies anymore or if that really makes sense for me. What happened was Jessica Starr, who was formerly known as Jessica the Story Witch on YouTube and is now known as Jessica and the Moon, put out a video about how we've been using the moon cycles wrong. And I will link that video up above. And in actuality, it wasn't necessarily that we were using them incorrectly. It was more so that she believes that the narrative that we talk about with the moon was an incomplete picture. We always talk about the new moon being for manifesting and the full moon being for letting go. And what she was talking about, and I highly recommend you watch the video. I found it so interesting to listen to, and for me, it changed everything. It might not change everything for everyone, but for me, it did. So I highly recommend you go and listen to it. It's fascinating, regardless of if it actually shifts things for you. She was talking about how our view of the moon cycle is based solely on us and the light that we receive from the moon. The new moon, we don't receive any light. The full moon, we do. And what she talked about in her video was rounding it out and adding some more nuance. And these nuances I really loved. So what I took from the video was that I started to understand, it started to make sense to me why I never feel like manifesting with the new moon. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you are like me, let's talk about it in the comments. Sound off if you've heard 20 billion times, oh, you manifest with the new moon, and then the new moon rolls around and you feel like a hot pile of garbage and you just want to sit and eat snacks, or you just want to like be quiet and left alone to sleep. Sound off if that's your experience on the new moon. That's fine. And maybe I am alone in this. I don't think I am. Who knows though? I never want to manifest on the new moon. The new moon is no. It's a no for me. I am tired. I just want to be still and quiet. And that's always made sense to me because the new moon is dark. There's nothing going on. I'm not getting any light from the moon. Why would I be pumped up to work with it in that way? It's just never made sense to me. And then I watched this video, and in it she had talked about the new moon being a really great time to receive energy. Like, she talked about how when we're going from the dark moon to the full moon, we're receiving energy from source, from all that is, from divinity, from however you class it. And then from the full moon to the new moon, we're sending our energy back towards spirit. So it's this receiving and sending cycle, and it goes round and round. And it made so much sense. And I thought about it and I was like, that's it. On the new moon, I don't want to do ritual. I do want to connect with spirit. And she even used an example in her video of how like people might naturally want to clean and kind of prepare their space and declutter before the new moon. So that way they're ready to, it's clear and clean and cleansed, ready to receive energy. And I was literally doing that the last few days before the Virgo new moon, which is around when she posted the video. So it shifted. So the new moon for me, here's what I did. I got so inspired. I made a page. Let me see if I can. Okay. So I made a page. I started with this, and then it wasn't working for, like, the setup wasn't working for what I wanted. So I started with this page, and I started with the new moon. The new moon, to me, it now in my brain, and this just makes sense, it is a time for me to divine. It is a time for me to receive messages. It is a time for me to go quiet, to go still, to tap in and connect within to messages that are coming to me. It's a time of receiving energy. It's not a time where I'm very active, where I'm sending energy out. The energy is coming towards me, and I go quiet and I go still, and I always am reflecting. And in actuality, the new moon is when I feel more inclined to do a tarot reading than the full moon. In the full moon, I often feel much more energetic. Is this influenced by the fact that I was born on the full moon? Yeah, probably, but that's okay. So I decided to say, so the dark moon time, my plan moving forward for working with the moon is that the dark moon time, that's for me to do big divination work. That's for me to go quiet and to go still and to turn within. It's when I want to get very ritualistic, and I want to sit down into stillness and receive messages very intentionally. I want to open myself up to spirit to send me messages. And I want it to be with spirit that perhaps is not as easy for me to tap into regularly. For example, I work with my ancestors. It's very easy for me to feel connected to my ancestors, whereas I also work with Hecate, and that one not so much. So on the new moon, my new way I'm working with it is that on the new moon, I sit down and I receive messages from Hecate, and I just open up to her. And then the full moon was the next one I figured out, which is when, to me, the full moon is not like a release, like a declutter kind of thing. The full moon, that's more balsamic moon. The full moon is more a release of like when you blow a dandelion wish. That's what it feels like to me. I want to declutter starting with like the third quarter moon energy into the balsamic moon. I'm really getting rid of things that don't serve me. Whereas the full moon feels more like picking a dandelion that's nice and poofy and spending time thinking about the wish I want and blowing it away. And through releasing it, through letting it go, through blowing it into the wind, I am sending it out into the world so the universe can bring me my wishes. If that makes sense. I hope I explained that okay. And that's what really the full moon feels like. So then I determined, okay, so what I'm going to do is my full moon is when I'm going to do a big sending ritual. And it's going to be a ritual to release my wishes to my guides. The key part is that I'm connecting the two, so it will be based on their guidance. So at the new moon, I sit down, and then I added in the 2 preparatory phases. So how it's looking and how it's developing is like this. On the new moon, I sit down and I sit at my altar here and I pull messages I pull and ask Hecate for messages. And I think I will probably still ask for messages specific based on the astrology. So for the Virgo new moon, I asked for messages about how I can serve my communication, because Virgo is very much about service, and my Virgo in my chart is my 3rd house, which is about communication. So how can I serve my communication? And I asked Hecate for this message. And oh boy, did I receive it, by the way. And then, once the first quarter moon came around, I started thinking about the planning. I started thinking about, okay, so I've spent time, I've received the messages, it's fucking clear, let me tell you. So now that I've received the messages, what does this mean for me wanting to release? What is it that I want to ask Hecate and ask the universe, ask my guides to help me with, so I can deliver on the messages I've been given? How can they help me so I can achieve my goals based on the messages I've been given, right? And so this is where I really lean more into the manifesting part, which I know initially from what you might be used to hearing seems really backwards. To me, it feels right. And so for the first quarter moon, I wrote the planning begins. It's setting up and writing out for my ritual. It's the planning, the preparation. It's, if something is unclear, it's time to really get clear, so that way I'm ready for the full moon. Now, to be completely honest, the full moon in Pisces that just passed, I was not fully ready in time. The messages I've been unraveling about my communication are deep and wide and very shadowy. And we're still very much working on it, and it's a thing. So I actually did some more clarification on the full moon, which is fine. That's totally fine with me. Because really, this whole side is about receiving energy from the great beyond, or whatever you might call it. And this whole side is about sending energy. The energy's coming towards me. The energy's moving towards them. So anywhere in this side, I can really focus, even leaning into this, I can really focus on clarifying the messages. And now I have a better idea on what to do. And it just so happens that this month, it's been a culmination of messages I've started receiving for months. So it's been a big thing. So then the full moon, I get to the sending ritual. So I build a ritual based on the messages I've been receiving from my guides. So I'm working on my communication, and I'm getting messages of, you really need to release your anger. Okay. That's what's stopping my communication or blocking it up. Great. Okay. What's something that I really could use help and support with to help me release my anger? I could just ask Hecate to take my anger and instill me with some calmness, right? So then I do a big ritual. Then that goes on, and once the third quarter moon hits, that's when I want to start focusing on preparing for the new moon. I want to take the time to cleanse, clean, and reset my space and myself, so that way I'm ready to listen. And that's actually coming up this week. So I really want to reset, so I'm ready when the new moon comes to receive the messages. So that way it feels like the cycle I've done is complete. Now, are all the messages going to be complete? Is the cycle always going to be complete within a month or 28 days? No. And I'm just going to look because there's some more pages. Not necessarily. Sometimes it's going to take a while longer than that. But I can still get the groundwork kind of done. So let me go to where is my, oh, it was in August. Okay, nope, that's it. Here's my new moon guidance. So what I did this month is I did my messages based on my reading that was in the Virgo new moon video, which is linked up above. And I got the message about my communication, right? So then what I did, and I did a video of this behind the scenes for my members. I do have channel membership, and everyone who is my Witchy Wonders and up, got a video on this, so you can check out my channel membership by clicking the join button or by clicking the link in the description box. But so I sat there, and when it came time to do the full moon in Pisces, because I wasn't ready for a ritual yet, I pulled out the cards from this first reading, and then I pulled out, and then I did more questions. I asked a few more questions, clarifying questions, and I pulled some more cards. And this doesn't have to be done at the full moon. I next time I want to do it before the full moon, and I want to be ready to do the ritual on the full moon. However, some months it's just not going to be like that. So the first stage is the initial message. Then I did clarifying things to really get into the nitty-gritty of it all. And then from the clarifying questions, I found out that I really had to do some shadow work on this point here. So then I did the shadow work. Release the anger to be transformed and alchemized. That's the idea of going on here. And it was extremely hard. And then after the shadow work, I really felt like I knew what was going on, but I didn't know how to get help with it. Like, I didn't know what help to ask for, what support to ask for with my guides. So then I did the Circle of Self-Care spread reading. And through doing all of these steps where I'm just digging deeper and deeper into the one theme, I figured out my ritual, or I started to, and I'm going to be working on that soon. I'm filming this a few days, some days ahead. It's the 13th actually as I'm filming this, and you'll see this in 8 days. So, and then the other thing that's happened is that I've started to, this has really just opened my understanding, and it's come into play with my new journal. I have a video of this up above in the cards, the initial setup. So I have it here in my wheel of the year. I put the phases because winter in my climate, I have all 4 seasons. This is the reference of that same page we just saw, but in a nicer looking format and smaller. And then I found out that the moon kind of feels aligned with the seasons. Like winter feels like that new moon phase where I'm going quiet and I'm going within. And summer feels like that outward phase. And I did this whole thing. Again, my members, these ones, the planner peeps, my planner peeps and up, got a behind the scenes rambly video where I talked more about this. So again, check out that membership. And then what I'm doing is, there it is. And so I also have that here. And then what I'm doing is I decided to create a moon map. And this is to thread the moons together. Because the Virgo new moon will always be in my 3rd house. So year to year to year, there are certain patterns that could emerge if I make it a point to look at that information. So what I'm working on doing also is recording what theme I'm working on for each moon. So that way, when it comes time to do, so that way over time I can develop a sense of what these moons tend to mean for me historically. And that leads me to the point of the full moon. I don't know what to do with the full moon videos. I'm just going to write out my house numbers here. I don't know what to do with the full moon videos because when I started this moon magic series, my idea was to do the full moon and new moon videos in the same format, where I would whoops, where I would create a reading based on the moons. And I'm just not sure how that works, because my plan is not to do readings on the moons anymore, or on the full moons anymore. My plan is to take action on the full moons. So I'm a bit unsure of what to do. I'd love your input. If you have any, please let us know in the comments down below what you think. I'm unsure at this point of what to do with my videos. So can you let me know in the comments down below? Based on what I've told you, I could stop doing the new moon videos if you don't think there's a point, if there's not going to be matching full moon videos. If you really get a lot and enjoy the new moon videos, let me know in the comments down below. I could do it where I don't really know. I don't really know what to do with the full moon videos, because I'm not going to come on here and say for the full moon we should pull a reading about what we're releasing if that's not true to me in my practice. I could... So it's a bit of a question mark. And it only made sense to me for me to come on and explain to you what's going on, what's shifting, and why the question mark is now a question mark. And maybe we can problem solve it together. So if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm continually brainstorming this and trying to work on it. But that is why, for the time being, I don't know if there will be a full moon video next month. We'll have to just see, and I will keep you posted. If you subscribe, I do post updates in the community tab. But that is the update of what's going on in my moon practice right now, and I'm extremely excited about it. It feels right. And if you look, there's the moon on my beautiful sheet. I really love the moon. It feels really right for me. So please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to let me know if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you can come on back nice and easily, and respond in the comments. Let us know, do you gain value out of the new moon videos? Do you have an idea for how I can do the full moon videos that you'd like to suggest? Does this shift in moon work resonate for you like it does for me? Anything, I'd love to talk about it. And in that description box below, don't forget you can find my website where you can book my services. I'm a professional tarot reader and astrologer, and I specialize in combining the two and making things really personally juicy because I like it. You can also find that link to check out and join my channel membership. There's also a join button beside the subscribe button. Sometimes I think it's only on certain devices. And there's my email. So if you have any questions, or you would like to request content, or just questions about my services, you can reach out there, and I will let you go here, and I will see you again soon. Lots of love. Bye.